Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. How are you? How are your days? Did you listen last podcast episode? Are you cultivating ease and comfort in your life? Are you trying to create memories? Did you thought about it? What is your point of life? What is the reason that you are doing everything the way you're doing? What more of the things you want to have in your life? I know you cannot reply to me directly on this question. However, in description of every podcast episode, there is a small link where you can send me messages. And also on my Instagram profile, you can always send me a message. I always like to connect with the people, to talk, to expand the knowledge and different opinions. So if you ever feel like connecting with me on a bit deeper level and building relationship around this podcast and around the topics that I'm always talking about, feel free to send the message wherever is comfortable for you. Today's podcast episode again is coming from the wisdom from my child. I was always learning from him, but it was more like he does something and then I analyze it and I learn something about the children, about the people, about patterns or the roots of behavior. But lately, as he's growing and he's becoming more verbal and he's more able to articulate his thought process, his ideas, he's getting independency, autonomy, I am learning so much from this little boy. So today I want to talk about what happened with us, the conversation between me and my son, and one small situation that he had in school. And then I was thinking all this week about it, about everything that I spoke to him, how to connect it in this podcast episode, how to share with you wisdom from this small conversation with my son. So a few days ago, we were coming back home from school and just chit-chatting in a car. How is everything? How is the school? And he told me that there is a one boy in school who is misbehaving and he often has to protect his friend from that boy. And I asked him, why do you have to protect him? Why he cannot protect himself? And he told me, you don't understand, Mama. He is afraid of that boy. So of course, like a mother, I felt uncomfortable that he's getting himself into something which is not his problem. So I told him, listen, I understand he's your friend and I understand that he's afraid, but how about next time you call teacher, you ask for somebody else to assist you instead of you getting involved into something between two of them and getting into trouble for something that it's not part of your concern. And suddenly he started crying and he told me, you don't understand, Mama. He's afraid of this boy. I have to protect him. Then again, I tried to calm him down. I was not expecting him to start crying. And I told him, yeah, I get it. He's your friend. But the point is that both of you are safe. The point is not that he's not safe and then you are not safe as well. If you're having the problem with some other friend in school, there is always an adult person in school who can assist you. He was crying and he told me, you don't understand and I think I'm not gonna listen you on this. I said to him, how do you mean you're not gonna listen to me? He says, no, I will protect my friend regardless of what you say. I will not listen you on this. And in me, in the moment, a little bit discomfort, like where did you get that bravery from to tell me I'm not gonna listen you on this? I calm myself down and I tell him, okay, fine. If you don't want to listen me on this, you do as you wish. But keep in mind that whatever choice you make, there is a consequences for that choice. So if you get more into trouble with that boy because of your friend, then be ready on the consequences which follow. And he said, it's okay, it's fine. I want to protect my friend. I'm not going to listen to you on this. I'm not going to call teacher. I'm going to be the one who protects my friend. He wasn't rude. He wasn't dismissive. He was simply clear. The way he said, I'm not going to listen you on this with such a confidence, with such a conviction, I stayed speechless. And I was thinking, where does this coming from? And basically, it's coming from a child who feels safe enough to say something like this. He knows that my love is not conditional. He knows that he doesn't have to obey me continuously. He is free to make his opinion and decision on things which are appropriate for his age. He is starting to develop his autonomy, his empathy. In that moment when he told me that, I realized most adults cannot do what this little 6-year-old child just did. He trusted himself enough to stand behind his decision, behind his words. He stood in his own sense of rightness, what feels right to him regardless of what I say, like a mother, like a, let's say, highest authority in his life. He was able to challenge me and to stay in what feels correct for him. He didn't feel guilty. He didn't hesitate. He didn't think that mama will shout or lose patience or my love is conditional. He was able to articulate something that most of the adults are not able to say. I was not able to say something like this until maybe 30 plus. To disobey my parents so openly. Sometimes they would say something and I would just stay quiet without telling them, but I would do it my own way. Because I thought that if I say something, that means that I'm disrespecting them. If I raise my opinion, if I have my own sense of what is correct or not correct for me, that in some way I'm disrespecting my parents. In that moment, in my son, I saw how far he came with the way I am raising him. I felt, of course, proud, but at the same time, really uncomfortable seeing 6 years old child doing something which I was not able to do up to my 30s. The rest of the ride, we stayed quiet in the car. He was reading the book. And I was just thinking, where did we lost that? Where we adults lost that? When did we start trading, literally trading our inner truth for approval, for love, for peace? When did we started giving away ourselves so that other people don't feel uncomfortable with our confidence, with our conviction, with our opinion? Because this is what we do, isn't it? We feel something, the truth, need for boundary, something that we need to speak, something that we need to stand up for, and we quiet it, we don't name it, we swallow it, just so we be accepted, to avoid tension, to keep the peace, to keep other people comfortable with us not making them uncomfortable. But once we do that, we are literally starting the war inside of ourselves. And we do it in the smallest possible way, in the micro moments, all day long. I can give you thousands of examples where we are doing those trade-offs, how I call them. For example, when we finally sit down to eat or to have coffee and our child calls us for something that is not even urgent, that can wait, that's something that maybe our child can even do by themselves, and we get up anyway. We feel that sting inside of us, like why I cannot eat in peace, why I cannot have coffee in peace, why I have to be the one who is constantly getting up. We try to brush it off with, it's fine, they are small. We tell ourselves stories that feel justified. We tell ourselves stories to cover that discomfort that we feel inside for not holding the boundary. But inside of us, there is that small sting, that voice that says, I cannot even eat at peace. I cannot even have coffee at peace. I have to be always the one who manages everything. And this is how it starts. We start to feel angry at the child for needing something or needing us continuously, angry maybe at our husband for sitting, not doing nothing, or for the fact that our child came to us instead of going to a father who is completely capable of doing that thing by himself. But deep down, we are angry at ourselves. We feel resentful for allowing it in the first place, for not having autonomy and conviction to protect our need in that moment. So our child wouldn't feel uncomfortable, so our husband wouldn't feel uncomfortable. We swallow it. We do what they're expecting us to do, even if they can do it by themselves without us. Then we say to ourselves stories, like I said, that sound very powerful, to justify why we have to be the one to do it regardless. That sting inside of us doesn't go. It stays and piles up and piles up. And this is how resentfulness is born. One of my podcast previous episodes, I talked about where does it coming from. When we do these things, when we have, let's say, need in the moment, but we trade it for somebody else's need or comfort in the moment, we basically betray ourselves. And we do it day by day, constantly, in those micro moments that seems almost like everyday life, like there is no way to do it differently. Now, there is a fact when the children are very small, that there is a fact that we often have to sacrifice our needs to attend the need of the child. But that phase lasts 1, 2, 3 years maximum, where the children are not capable of doing some basic things by themselves. And often it's not even about doing the basic things. It's about simple things that they are bored and they will come to disturb us while we're having the coffee, and we will brush off that need for attention by saying they are just children, without actually thinking that we should set the boundary in the first place to protect that moment that means something to us, that coffee. But inside of us, that resentfulness builds because we betrayed ourselves again, because we get up when we didn't want to get up, we gave something when we were already empty, and we again say to ourselves, story, it's not a big deal, they are small, they are children, my husband is busy, he's resting. All of these things which cover up the fact that we betrayed ourselves. If we own it, if we really own it inside of ourselves, if we say to ourselves, I didn't respect myself enough in this moment to stand up for what is important for me, I betrayed myself for the comfort of other people, even if that other people are my family, it stings, it hurts. So we create the story which justifies why we betrayed ourselves in the first place. And we think it's not a big deal, but it is. Because every small act, every micro self-betrayal is teaching our body that our needs don't matter, that our needs are negotiable. And every time we ignore that little sting, that voice inside of us that said, don't do that, you need this coffee to regulate yourself, to sit in peace. It means that moment with that cup of coffee for you, we lose ourselves a little bit. We lose trust in ourselves. When I first started diving into personal development, it was mostly because I wanted to be a better mother. I wanted to be able to be calmer, more regulated, to raise my child way differently than I was raised. And the more I was learning, the more I was diving into personal development, slowly I kind of came to understanding that this was my biggest struggle. It wasn't discipline, it wasn't motivation, it wasn't mindset, it wasn't inspiration. It was about those small moments where I knew what is right for me, what is correct for me, and I still didn't do it. And it was never about me not knowing what is correct for me or me not knowing what are my needs. It was always about me being afraid of what people will think, afraid to be unloved, afraid to be seen as selfish, afraid to be rejected, afraid to be mocked, afraid to be behaving like I'm above somebody if I protect my own needs. But that sting of self-betrayal always stayed. And then I became resentful because deep down I knew I was the one who is giving myself away. Nobody was pushing me to do it. Nobody asked from me to do it. I always had agency to stop it, to set boundary, to say what is important for me, to stand up for myself. I was the one who was doing. I was the one who was making sure that everybody is comfortable around me at the cost of myself. When I realized this, it was the moment when everything started to change for me. I started building my own language around this. I started calling it self-betrayals, I started calling it trade-offs, and I started noticing it in everyday life more and more. Even in the small stupid things, like, let me finish this, then I will have coffee. Even if nobody is asking me to do anything, let me finish something which contributes to the family system instead of first attending my own needs. It's like training wired inside of us that says once everybody around us is comfortable, once everybody around us is happy, then we earned it to rest. Then we earned it to attend our own needs. Once I built my own language around it, my vocabulary around it, my own philosophy and understanding of this phenomenon, how to call it, of women giving themselves away for the comfort of others so they feel loved, accepted, cherished, respected. By doing these things, everything started changing for me. Then I started slowly correcting the small self-betrayals, the smallest one, the micro moments where I have agency to say, no, my needs matter. No, I cannot attend that now. No, I want to finish first something for myself, then I will do this other thing. Everything started slowly shifting in me when I started taking myself seriously and actually respecting my own needs. And why I build my own language around it, why I build my own philosophy around it that I'm trying through my podcast now to teach other women to see and notice it in their own life. Because I didn't saw anybody explaining what is happening inside of me. I didn't see anybody in industry, in many books to explain it precisely and exactly why we do it the way we're doing it. People kept saying, set boundaries, say no, put yourself first, but no one was naming the benefit that we are getting when we basically betray ourselves. Or that second before the self-betrayal, nobody was naming that the split of the moment, that invisible gap where we feel the signal inside of us that we need to do something for ourselves and we still move against it. Because there is secondary benefit in that. What is the secondary benefit? If I do this for you and I don't do it for myself, you will love me. I will feel like I belong. I will be the one who manage everything. I will be the one who is easy to be loved. And I gain second benefit out of it. I feel in some way accepted, in some way like I belong, but I feel that sting inside of myself that I don't belong to myself. So because I was searching for the language to describe why we're doing it, how we're doing it, that moment, that signal, that discomfort inside of us, that rightness of the thing that we're supposed to do, I started building my own language around it. I started mapping the space to explain what is happening inside of me. And the more I was mapping it, the more I saw it. 99% of the women are feeling the same. The way when I was talking with my friends, with the family members, asking them, do they feel the same? Do they do the same? Do they have the stories like I did? I saw that all of us doing the exactly same thing. All of us are basically every single day trading our own truth for the comfort of others. And that understanding became the foundation of the work I do today, helping women to stop giving themselves away in those tiny, automatic, unnoticeable moments and start leading themselves instead. What I mean by leading, choosing differently. It's like literally, I take myself and I lead myself. I pull myself in a different direction. I choose myself. I stand up for myself. I take myself seriously. I cherish my need. I respect myself. And I start building trust in myself. I start building love for myself. And only way I could be confident to talk about this is when I actually did it with myself in my own life. When I attended those small micro self-betrayals and start changing them and notice what happened inside of me, how I felt, how different I felt, how more confident I felt, how much more respect I had for myself when I actually started attending my own needs. And women often get confused or kind of splitted in the moment thinking if I attend my own needs then I'm abandoning my family. I was learning in the process how to do both, how to give to my family, how to give myself, how to find that balance where I'm not betraying myself and I'm not betraying them. The more I was observing around myself, the more I saw that this philosophy that is my philosophy is everywhere around us, in almost every single thing we are doing. The more I was doing it in my own life, the more I was stopping self-betrayals in my own life, I saw where exactly self-leadership begins, where that self-led woman is born. It's in that tiny pause between what you feel in the moment and what you do. We think that our life needs to change in those big, huge moments, in some big, huge decisions, and they are part of big change. But our nervous system cannot handle suddenly big changes. We have to start in those micro small moments where the stakes are low, in those places where we still feel comfortable but not too much exposed to change something. In those small self-betrayals where we stop them. Coffee in peace, shower in peace, walk at night when the children are sleeping, those things that we always feel inside of us that we want to do, and we sacrifice them for somebody else. This is where our power lives, in those small micro moments, in that gap, that tiny pause between what you feel you want to do and what you actually do. In that moment, you say to yourself, wait, what am I about to give away to keep peace? What am I about to do to keep others comfortable? Whose comfort am I prioritizing over my own? That small pause, that small moment where you train yourself to notice that single breath of the seconds, single breath of how to say it, awareness about it, is the moment where you start rebuilding your self-trust. You start making different choices. Because from the outside, it can look that we are keeping the peace, that we are keeping the harmony. But is it really peace and harmony if resentfulness sits inside of us? Is it actually peace? Is it actually ease? Is it actually comfort? Or is it just performance that everybody else is okay, but we are not okay inside of us? Often I scroll through social media, or when I talk with people, they ask me, or I see that the people in the comment section on Instagram, they often ask, how do I make others respect me? How do I become more confident? How do I trust myself more? How do I love myself more? Maybe the question is not how do I do this? Maybe the question should be, where did I stop respecting myself in the name of love? Where did I stop cherishing myself for others? Where I decided that comfort of others is more important than my own comfort? When I went into personal development journey, I wanted to be more patient, more giving, more understanding, but as the time passed, I saw that the healing isn't becoming more patient, isn't becoming more giving or understanding or more empathic. It's basically more about becoming more honest with ourselves, maybe with yourself first, living in truth. What is your truth in the certain moment? What exactly is your truth? What exactly is your capacity? What do you want to do? What do you don't want to do? Maybe for you as well, the real healing will become and start the moment you become honest with yourself about the things that you need for yourself. Because every time you choose truth over somebody else's comfort, over somebody else's peace, you are teaching your body that you are safe to be who you are, the way you are, that you are accepting yourself with all different colors and flavors, and they all make you who you are. You start building self-trust in this way, moment by moment, decision by decision, choice by choice, micro self-betrayal. You stop it and you choose differently for yourself. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You will sometimes make mistake, you will still make trade-off, you will still put other people's needs in front of your own. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be builded in awareness that even when you do it, you are aware that you did it. And next time you correct it. Next time you choose yourself instead. That day in the car, when my son told me, no, I'm not gonna listen to you in this, I realized he was showing me what looks like to stay loyal to yourself. And maybe that's what we all came here to learn. Maybe this new generations that we are raising will be different, better, more aware, more emotionally intelligent, more stable, more confident, more in conviction than we are. We have to kind of now learn it in a bit harder way, and they are growing up with this confidence. So maybe our school, what we need to learn for ourselves is, what does it mean to self-respect? What does it mean to be loyal to yourself? What does it mean to love yourself? What does it mean to be honest with yourself about the things you love, need, appreciate, don't want, everything what makes us imperfectly perfect humans in this world. That's all for this Sunday. I wish you a beautiful rest of the day, and I see you next week in a new episode. Bye.